Seattle this year, and he's pitched very well. He's gotten a lot of ground balls. Just looking at those roster moves, if I had to pick someone in last night's game who didn't look hurt, there was a lot of them, but one of them would have been Jason Grilli. He came in and threw 3 pitches, threw 392-mile-an-hour fastballs right by Ichiro. So whatever the elbow inflammation is with Jason, boy, he gutted through it last night and still threw the ball great. It's too bad. He's been pitching great baseball for the Rangers.
Now, the Rangers bullpen has been such a strength. Doug Mathis will slip right back in. He was part of the reason it was a strength, really. He had 17 scoreless innings in a row.
He had the feeling that all they needed was an opportunity and that Doug would be back.
Ichiro was on base 3 times yesterday. That is not unusual. Batting .363, that leads the major leagues right now. And the Rangers have actually held him somewhat in check, hitting under .300 against the Rangers this year. Feldman's faced him once before. Scott had a game in Seattle against these Mariners and pitched very well in that game. That's rare when you get Ichiro to pop it sky high like that. Marlon Byrd will make the catch. Byrd, Hamilton, and Cruz in the outfield. And again, with Kinsler out for about another 9 or 10 days, we'll see a lot of Omar Vizquel, maybe some Joaquin Arias at second base. Feldman works with Jared Saltalamacchia. I think the Rangers, obviously, they're going to miss Kinsler. And even though Ian's been slumping of late, and as Ron Washington has said, he's maybe been a little bit fatigued, so to have some time off, I think everybody figured that's not the worst thing ever, but not this much time off, right? You didn't want to see him out for 15 whole days.
No, definitely not. Already a good start for Scott, though. He popped up Ichiro on a good fastball, jammed Branyan, another little pop up to center field. Got 2 quick outs on 5 pitches.
Kinsler is eligible to return right when the Rangers are coming off this next road trip. That last game in Cleveland is when he'll be eligible to come off, because Ian goes on retroactively to the last time he played, July 29th. It's not all bad news, actually, talking about the roster moves today. Frankie Francisco is finally back. He had that case of pneumonia that had him out for, what was it turned out, 19 days.
Well, when you send a pitcher out and you have a pitcher hurt, and you can add to the staff Doug Mathis, who is pitching great in relief, Frankie Francisco, and your best prospect in the minor leagues, Neftali Felice, you really feel pretty good about what you were able to call to the big leagues in what is kind of an emergency situation. Nice guys to have ready.
Lopez lays off the count, 2-2. Frankie, remember, was the closer and was doing just an amazing job to start the year. C.J. Wilson has taken over, and he's been great as well. Boy, this is a lot better first inning than the last one, huh? Feldman threw 38 pitches his last first inning. He throws 9 in this first inning, and there is no score in Arlington. Yesterday, and we should note that the Angels have already won their game today. Rangers trying to keep pace, taking on the former Pittsburgh Pirate Ian Snell this evening. We'll talk about him quite a bit, but first let's show you the Rangers batting order. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Vizquel in for the ailing Ian Kinsler right at the top. Then the red-hot Michael Young, David Murphy, and Marlon Byrd follow, setting up Hank Blaylock and Nelson Cruz. Hamilton still batting 7th until he can get going again. Saltalamacchia and Andrews finish it off. Against the righty Ian Snell, the Rangers saw him in Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, and he pitched extremely well against him. Here's the Dallas County Community College District scouting report.
Well, his record with Pittsburgh wasn't that good. He was 2-8, but they didn't score any runs for him. His ERA was over 5. Had almost 8 strikeouts per 9 innings from 2006 to 2008. That's 12th in the National League. His best pitch is a slider, although he's got a good solid fastball. And when he got sent to the minor leagues by Pittsburgh, he had a pretty remarkable game, Josh. 17 strikeouts
in 7 innings.
7 innings in his first AAA start.
That's going down with an attitude right there. He actually struck out 13 Toledo Mud Hens in a row at one point in that game. Tom Seaver's got the big league record, striking out 10 batters in a row. So, yeah, Snell goes back to AAA, where he had fashioned a no-hitter a few years ago. He kind of felt like he had nothing left to prove in AAA. And went out there and proved it, striking out 17 in 7 innings. But the Pirates obviously just kind of grew tired of the fact that he was 2-8 with an ERA in the 5s.
You know, the thing about that is he was 2-8. They didn't score any runs for him. His ERA was over 5. But he gave up 3 earned runs or less in 10 of his 15 starts. So the majority of his work was actually pretty good. He just had 4 starts where he gave up 5 earned runs a couple of times and 6 earned runs a couple of more times that bumped his ERA up there. But for the most part, he pitched a lot better than 2-8, 536 looks.
2-strike pitch to Michael Young. There's one of those sliders down and outside, and keeping the ball down as he does, he's a very tough guy to homer against. If you add what he had going with the Pirates and then what he did in AAA, it's been 69 innings since he's allowed a home run. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, he didn't give many up in Pittsburgh. He didn't give many up in AAA. That's 37 innings.
But here's the deal. He was facing the Texas Rangers, and they happen to lead the major leagues in home runs hit. So something's got to give in that department tonight. Michael Young takes outside.
I think the Mariners made a good trade with Pittsburgh. Again, I don't know the talent of the young players they gave up. Time will tell whether Pittsburgh got some good young players. But when you can get a starting shortstop like Jack Wilson, a nice steady guy like that, and a guy like Snell who could, you know, come to a new league, feel energized by being with a new ball club. He's got a good arm. He's a durable kind of guy. Could be a good 4th starter for him.
Well, and to escape Pittsburgh, the Pirates are on pace for an American professional sports record of 17 straight losing seasons. Strike 3 called to Michael Young. That's the young umpire back there, DJ Rayburn. Just the 6th time he's ever had a home plate in a big league ball game. And he rings up Michael Young.
Now, I would have to think, even though Snell had been sent to the minor leagues, with his track record, which is pretty solid, and the way he was pitching in AAA, there had to be a lot of teams scouting him and a lot of teams with some interest. The Mariners were able to put a deal together to get him and to get Jack Wilson. But there had to be some other teams that had some interest in him, too, because he could be a guy that's kind of a sleeper. He could add something to a ball club.
Well, he was a sleeper even when the Pirates drafted him. He was a 26th round pick, and that's not that different than how the Rangers got Scott Feldman. Scotty was a 30th round draft pick. So a couple guys who essentially have defied expectations. Feldman's got a chance to get his 10th win of the year tonight. Ian Snell was a one-time 14-game winner for the Pirates. Murphy runs the count to 3-1. He is hitless in his last 11 trips to the plate. And now he crushes one to right.
There's the home run you were talking about.
Wow, upper deck for David Murphy. it still seemed to be ascending on its way out. And for the first time in 69 innings, Ian Snell has seen somebody leave the yard.
That was a pretty good tease. How long he'd been without a home run, and then when you mentioned, but it is the Rangers, and right off the bat, David put a charge in one. That's probably the hardest hit ball David's had all year, and he's hit some balls pretty hard too. That's a fastball right down the middle of the plate. You want to stay away from that center spot of the strike zone, otherwise that's what can happen.
Upper deck right away. Murphy's 9th of the year. And forget about that 0 for 11 thing. Marlon Byrd trying to follow up, sends a towering fly ball into shallow center field. Ryan Langerhans will run in and grab it to end the inning. But the David Murphy home run has the Rangers on top of Seattle 1-0.
Green, former mayor of Arlington for 10 years, on hand because the Texas Rangers have funded the Richard Green Scholarship, and also one of the recipients on hand too. What a great offer this is from the Texas Rangers, right?
It's part of the Rangers' fulfillment of their promise to support the community. This scholarship program is terrific. The Rangers committed about $1.2 million 12 years ago. We've put kids through it every year. And it is a very successful program. The objectives are not just about the money, although $10,000 per student is a nice sum to have, but it's about developing tomorrow's leaders. The program puts the kids through a year-long activity in internships and community service and governmental organizations. That's why we select them at the end of their junior year. This is Harrison Tulloch. He is a student at Martin High School. He's an incoming senior. And he is entering the program. Tonight he's introduced along with his 5 colleagues who are down in the seats and ready to enjoy the game. Harrison,
what were your initial thoughts when you received the news that, hey, you're going to earn the scholarship?
I was really excited that I was going to have the opportunity to participate in such a great program.
All right, well, congratulations, and Richard, thank you for everything.
I've got one last thing. I want to give a shout out to you and to Josh and to Tom for the best job of any TV team in baseball. I love it when I'm at home and get to watch the games with you all doing your work. So thank you very much.
Well, coming from you, that's quite a compliment. Appreciate it. Thank you, former Arlington Mayor Richard Green. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very nice. Here, Ken Griffey Jr. robbed over there by Michael Young, reaching towards the crowd.
You know, Josh, we ought to mention that when we talk about Green Hill in center field, the green grass behind the center field wall, now you have a face. That's former Mayor Richard Green,
that's
that's who the hill is named after. He is green.
It's not easy being green.
No, it's not. Wasn't easy making that catch while the kid had his glove right in Mike's face either.
Strike one to Jack Hanahan. And so far tonight, I mean, we've got a lot of kind of wandering storylines going tonight. The disabled list, Scott Feldman bouncing back, the Rangers kind of shuffling things up a little bit. And I think the one thing that you're really impressed by early is the fact that Scott Feldman has come out here throwing a lot of strikes, being very aggressive. And I think exactly what you said, Tag, is what every Ranger fan, and certainly Scott Feldman, is hoping, that, you know, everybody gets at least one bad one. You make 30 starts a year. They're not all going to be pristine. And now coming back on 3 days rest, the Geico quote, he says, I don't think the short rest is an issue. Bad location, that is true. And moving on is exactly what he's doing so far tonight.
Well, Scott had been incredibly consistent. 17 starts, and there really wasn't a bad start in 17 starts. And I think if you look at almost every pitcher in baseball, whether it's Tim Lincecum or Zach Greinke, if you look at a 17-game stretch, you'll probably find a bad start in there. And for Scott to come out and have one last time, that's exactly what he has to do. Just chalk it up, forget about it. You came out, couldn't throw the ball where you wanted to one time, and you'll just bounce back from that. Pitching on 3 days rest, and so far so good tonight.
You think Kenny Chesney never hit a wrong note in a concert? You think Julia Child never burned a souffle?
Probably she did, but probably was earlier in her career.
Well, Scott Feldman's early in his career too. So again, going in search of his 10th win, all since the end of April. The only American League pitchers in that time frame with more than that, Justin Verlander and Josh Beckett. Hanahan shatters his bat.
Well, it got pretty good distance, but it didn't break Brandon's record from last night. Certainly not in the air. Brandon broke a bat that went all the way over first base, 20 or 30 feet into the outfield before it hit the ground.
Vizquel has been dodging bats this entire series. But that cut fastball, right? I mean, that's what it's designed to do, is do that to a lefty.
Yep, and he does it very well. He's already done it several times in this game. He only faced 4 hitters.
Hanahan was on base 4 times yesterday. He draws the walk here. Brings up one of the former Pirates that we were talking about, Jack Wilson. The Pirates have absolutely gutted their team of all their recognizable name players, and they're starting all over again. But I think what's annoying to their fans is they keep doing that. The Pirates are the only team in the big leagues right now, Tag, without a player making even the average major league salary. They've got Paul Maholm making about $2.5 million. The average major league salary now is about $3.5 million. Everybody on their team is young, doesn't cost him a lot. Andrews to Vizquel to Blaylock, 6-4-3 DP. And Scott Feldman making a statement here early tonight. 1-0 Rangers at the ballpark. watch the Rangers, catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv. For details, go to TexasRangers.com, where baseball is always on. Blaylock leading off in the bottom of the second against Ian Snell. Branyan wins the race to the bag. There's one up, one down. Again, the big news for the Rangers, who's coming on the DL, who's coming off the DL. Frankie Francisco is active again. That's great. But Jason Grilli, kind of a surprise to hear that he's down for 15 days with a sore elbow. Ian Kinsler, with that hamstring not getting any better, joins Jason on the DL. And Neftali Felice is here. We'll see if he gets into a game tonight or if he's got to make that big league debut out on the road. But I think everything that was forecast in terms of 2009, that at some point Derek Holland would be here, at some point Felice would be here. Holland got here way back in May. August 2nd is when we finally see Neftali Felice. Felice, by the way, an ERA of about 3.5 in the minors, with what everybody says is just an electric fastball. Another pop-up here induced by Ian Snell. Out number 2 in the inning. And Ellie had the 458-foot homer last night. In fact, he had 3 of his 6 Ranger hits in the game last night. I love what Bobby Valentine used to say about games like that yesterday, Tag. He'd say, well, tomorrow's your best friend. And in this game, that is absolutely true.
I think that's one of the good things about baseball. In football, you have a whole week to think about a bad game. In baseball, you don't have time to think about it. You think about it while it's happening, probably in the shower, and then you go home, you wake up, and you come back out to the ballpark for another game, and you can't dwell on what just happened. You're thinking about the upcoming game. So I think baseball is great in that regard.
Well, and the Rangers had their shots against King Felix yesterday. Felix Hernandez was not at his best, not at his sharpest. But then again, Tommy Hunter was not at his sharpest yesterday. Seattle took advantage, whereas the Rangers could not. And Felix Hernandez, I think, a little bit more mature, a little bit better condition. That sinker's been great. Didn't have full command yesterday, but he did enough to win. You talk about a guy still trying to live up to the hype. Got to the big leagues at 18 years old. And was supposed to be Mr. Everything for Seattle. Hamilton checks his swing. I thought that was a fun pitching matchup last night. A couple of 23-year-old righties having at it. And both, I think, kind of showing what happens when you don't have your best stuff. What do you do? Hamilton with a walk. 2-out walk to bring up Saltalamacchia. You saw Don Wakamatsu, the Seattle manager, and he used to be not only the Rangers bench coach, but the Rangers catching instructor. He worked with Jared Saltalamacchia, trying to make sure that he knew all the tricks of the trade to become a better catcher at the big league level. And although Wak wants the Mariners to win now going forward, I'm sure he can look at what Saltalamacchia has become, and he can feel pretty good about one of his former pupils.
There haven't been many defensive players in the league who learned more and applied it better than Jared Saltalamacchia has this year.
Wakamatsu gets an assist from last year. Scott Service has done a great job working with Salty. I'm sure Salty can rattle off several other guys that have pitched in. It takes a village.
Yeah, I'm sure Jackie Moore has pitched in since he's been here with some tips. Jackie was a catcher way back when.
Jackie's done a great job as Wash's bench coach this year. Hamilton going. Rob Johnson is throwing, and out at second base is Josh Hamilton. The Rangers have not been caught stealing a lot this year, but there's Josh Knapp at second base. 1-0 Rangers at the end of 2. % on car insurance, and by AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Josh Hamilton caught stealing to end the bottom of the second inning. Rob Johnson will stand in delivery here, and the throw sails a bit. Boy, that's not a lot of contact there. Wilson just kind of brushing the jersey or the pants of the incoming runner.
He made a pretty good play because the ball was tailing towards second base. And it looked like he touched his left knee before Josh got his hand in there. The ball almost slipped right out the webbing of his glove, though. Just barely hung on to it.
The Rangers have been successful this year, or had been successful anyway, 92 of 108 times when trying to steal. That's the first time that Hamilton's been caught all year.
Led off for Franklin Gutierrez tonight.
Don't mind that.
No, he's been tough on the Rangers.
Ryan Langerhans gets the bat on the ball here, keeps it 1-2.
The Mariners have an off day tomorrow in Kansas City, so that'll get Gutierrez a couple of days off, really.
Strike 3 called to Langerhans.
That's the cut fastball. That was a beauty.
Already more strikeouts for Feldman in his game at 2 than he had his entire last game against the Tigers.
Right on the outside corner, it looked like. Yep, just touching the outside corner. Good pitch. Throw that one all day long. You're going to get people out all day long.
Early returns are good. I don't know about you, Tag. This home plate umpire, young DJ Rayburn.
Yeah, I like the strike zone.
I like the style with which he calls the guy out, too. We haven't had that telltale from the broadcast booth yet, where there's one that's like an inch off that's called a strike or vice versa.
Well, if the umpires had our vantage point in our replays, they'd never make a mistake.
Right. If they had the rectangle.
You know, the other side of it is, and you know, we tend to critique the umpires on a pitch-by-pitch basis, and that makes it pretty difficult. But the bottom line is, what was that percentage you had of mistakes, so to speak, that the umpires make with the strike zone? Something like they're right 90-something% of the time?
Yeah, QuestTech is the old system that was able to track that. I'm not sure what the new system does, but yeah, they say that on average, a home plate umpire would miss 7 per game, meaning about 95% of the time on balls and strikes got it right.
When you figure the ball's coming in anywhere from 85 to 95 miles an hour most of the time, and it's not straight, and the umpire doesn't know what kind of a pitch it's going to be, just like the batter, or how it's going to move, and he has a split second to make that decision. If that's the few mistakes that they're making, that's pretty good. And when we look at the plays on the bases, they're right almost every time.
Well, and when we even say mistakes, it's not like, most of the time they're glaring. They're borderline, and, according to the machine, yeah, it should have gone the other way by a smidge.
Yeah, and that, when you see one outside the rectangle, it looks glaring. But if you're down there where he is, watching it come in at 90 miles an hour, it's a blur. And 2 or 3 inches here and there is kind of a margin of error that the umpire really has based on how difficult it is to call those pitches.
The new system is used in every ballpark. Questec was only used in 11 of the 30. So that right there, I think, is a cool thing to be able to talk about. The new system is called Zone Evaluation. It's the same company that produces those first down lines you see on televised football games. It's that kind of technology. But yeah, the umpires are indeed accountable. They get a disc that they can pop in their laptops, and they can sit down and review every pitch they had to call. The computer will tell them if they got it right or not. DJ Rayburn, this young umpire, his first ever assignment, R.A. Dickey was the starting pitcher. So a knuckleballer.
Pitcher.
Yeah, welcome. Strike 3 called. Liking the umpire, liking the starting pitcher for the Rangers tonight. Scott Feldman has struck out 3.
And by the way, that's in the rectangle.
And that's the end of the inning. Saturday Rangers game. Dreyer's Bad Kids visit the field during batting practice. Receive 4 tickets to the game. For more information, go to TexasRangers.com. Cooling off on a 95-degree summer evening here at the ballpark. The former Pittsburgh Pirate Ian Snell getting a ground ball off the bat of Saltalamacchia. He was at bat when Hamilton was caught stealing to end the second. Elvis Andrus did something unusual last night. Came up 3 times and did not get credit for an at-bat. 2 walks and he was hit by a pitch.
Well, that's a good game because that helps your on-base percentage out, and eventually that's going to determine how high in the order Elvis hits. And as well as he's done in the 9th spot, as a 20-year-old, you could project him at the top of the order, and who knows, 2, 3 years. And one of the things that determines whether you're a bottom of the order hitter or a top of the order hitter is what your on base percentage is. And I think that's why you were talking last night that Ron Washington encourages him to be a patient hitter, to take pitches, not to be afraid to take a 2-0 pitch, a 3-1 pitch. That's one of the reasons why.
The Rangers as a team have an on-base percentage that is actually second worst in the American League at .316. But Elvis at the number 9 spot in the order is 10 points higher than the team average. He's at .326. So one of the better on-base percentages, actually, from down at the bottom of the lineup.
Well, the other thing he hasn't done is strike out very much. He's only struck out 44 times with 280 at-bats. That's pretty good for a 20-year-old. So that's one right there. It's a 3-1 pitch. Not afraid to take a strike, especially, you know, you got a chance to get on base for the top of the order. With his speed, maybe he can make something happen. Borderline pitch anyway. And he gets a walk.
There you go. Ian Kinsler is out, and he is not at the top of the order. There might be a temptation to let Elvis just try that out at some point, but you got Omar Vizquel, a seasoned top of the order guy. He's coming up now.
He's coming up now, and to give you some alternatives here. Elvis is a good base stealer. Vizquel handles the bat well. Could be a hit and run. Could be a lot of things right here if Ron decides he wants to try something.
Omar's got the third best on-base percentage on the team, behind Michael Young and David Murphy.
Now, when you've got a 3-1 count, it's pretty obvious. He has to throw you 2 strikes, and if you take one, chances are you're going to see the same pitch on the 3-2 pitch anyway. So you get a good look at it, and you still got the same chance to hit the 3-2 pitch. And if he doesn't, he walks you.
Andrews already with 20 steals, and Snell is right to be concerned about him. Rangers, it looks like, will have at least 3 men with 20 steals this year. That hasn't happened since 1985. Nelly Cruz is getting close. He's got 17. Elvis has 20. Kinsler leads the team with 22. And again, if you're just joining us, Ian's on the DL retroactively to a few days ago. He will miss pretty much the entire upcoming road trip. High fly ball from Vizquel, and Ichiro wanders over, makes the catch. We mentioned Ian Snell pitched well against the Rangers a couple of summers ago. And the Rangers made that trip to PNC Park in Pittsburgh. It was the Ian versus Ian battle. First ever in baseball. Kinsler versus Snell. Snell with the complete Game 7 hit shutout. Snell is from a small town in Delaware. Not that there's a lot of large towns in Delaware, but... And he was actually drafted as Ian Okendo. He got married, and the girl he got married to, her last name was Okendo. He changed his name to hers. And that, I guess, was just a passing fancy. He decided after a couple of years, nope, I'm not going to do that after all. I'm going to go back to being Ian Snell. But when he first got drafted, there's no record of Ian Snell ever having been drafted. He was Ian Okendo. What would your last name have been had you gone that route?
Well, my wife's last name is Connery, so I would have been Tom Connery, which was actually her father's name.
Glad I asked that question. Michael Young takes...
There's actually 3 Kathy Greaves in our family. Ben's wife is named Kathy, and then Kathy's brother is named Kathy. So when you say Kathy Grieve in our family, you have to specify which one you're talking about.
Everybody turns around. You guys are like a collective George Foreman over there. Everybody's there.
Kurt Dykert said her brother's name Kathy. I meant Kathy's, my wife's brother's wife is named Kathy. No, his name is Sue.
You got a boy named Sue?
He has a boy named Sue. No, his name's Tom too.
All right.
Anyway, that's a lot more than you were asking, but that's what you get for asking that question.
Well, I get for throwing it out there about Ian Okendo. Murphy on deck. He's accounted for the only run of the game so far with a home run, and on deck is where he'll stay. Young has now struck out twice. We're at the end of 3 at the ballpark tonight. Rangers 1 and the Mariners nothing. Flag trivia question. Ruben Sierra, who went into the Hall of Fame here in Arlington yesterday, one of 5 players in Ranger history to be named Comeback Player of the Year. Can you name the other 4? Rangers have a shot at getting Andrew Jones to receive that award this year, and there's a financial incentive in his contract, by the way, if that happens. Andrew's having a terrific season and should see a lot of playing time in Oakland tag because the first 3 Ranger opponents out there in Oakland starting tomorrow, they're all left-handers.
All lefties?
Brett Anderson, Gio Gonzalez, and Dallas Braden will make the first 3 appearances against the Rangers in a 4-game series. Dustin Mippert is in tomorrow instead of Kevin Millwood, who keeps getting pushed back because of that strained glute.
Well, as soon as you get Vicente Padilla back, now Kevin's going to miss a start.
It's always something.
Always something. But boy, Vicente came back strong and had a good start. I'm sure Kevin will do the same thing.
Ichiro slashing one foul, 2-1.
But you look at the Rangers pitching staff. They've got Holland and Hunter, 2 youngsters, 2 rookies. Scott Feldman pitching tonight, not exactly a veteran starter. This is only his 2nd year starting. So Holland, Hunter, Feldman, 3/5 of the rotation. Matt Harrison, another youngster, was in the rotation for quite a while. You look at the bullpen now. Nippert, relatively early in his career. O'Day, the same thing. Doug Mathis, the same thing. And now Felice up here for the first time. So on the Ranger pitching staff, 7 of the guys aren't all rookies, but close to it in experience for sure.
Well, and heading down the stretch into hopefully what will be the Rangers' first playoff appearance in 10 years. Ichiro, who makes a living beating these out, is going to beat out another one. Got the most infield hits of anybody in the majors, and the tying man is on simply with a ground ball to the left side.
Well, if he slaps it on the ground and it's not right at someone on the left side, then he's going to beat it out. On the right side, you've got a little bit better chance because the throw's a shorter throw. but he's almost at full speed when he makes contact with the ball. And if he hits a chopper, forget it. It's going to be a base hit.
Since he's come to the major leagues from Japan, he's got close to 60 more infield hits than anybody else. The Ford leaderboard will show it to you. Juan Pierre is at least within a yodel. And after that, it just kind of drops right off. Inside here to Branyan. Ichiro, of course, a threat to run here as well in a 1-0 game. Got 22 stolen bases.
In this series, the Rangers, I think, have had the most success throwing him high fastballs up and in. At least it's hard to slap that pitch on the ground. He's popped up several of them to left field. And in fact, last night, Jason really struck him out on 3 straight felt high fastballs. But when you throw the ball that looks like a great pitch down and away, a sinker, a slider, down and in, those are the pitches he just kind of slaps at, hits the ball softly on the ground, and gets a base hit. An amazing knack for being able to do that.
Meantime, I think you're right about Branyan, too, as the Rangers have been getting him out with the high heat in this series. Branyan is just behind Carlos Pena in terms of most swings that come up empty. Most swings and misses in the American League. The Major League leader, and it's tough to quarrel with him, it's Ryan Howard, the all-star for the Phillies. He has swung and missed 316 times already this year, but
it's what happens when he makes contact, though.
There's kind of what we're talking about right there.
If you can locate a good high fastball, not in the center of the plate, and then throw off-speed pitches out of the strike zone, that gives Branyan some problems. But he's the kind of guy, he's a mistake hitter. You make a mistake to him, and as we said last night, he can hit it 450 feet in a hurry.
Oh, you know what? This is a great warm-up for 4 games in a row against Jack Cust coming up with the Oakland A's. Same kind of dynamic.
Similar. You know, for a good part of the season, Branyan was hitting around 300. Dropped off a little bit late, and that's the ball he's got to lay off of right there. But you can't argue with what Branyan has done. 24 home runs and 55 RBIs. Now, that's not a strike, but that's one when he swings at it, he has a tough time making contact with it. So do a lot of people.
On 3-2, Ichiro's not going, and down goes Branyan. Is that the cutter?
Yeah, it was 91 miles an hour. Had good velocity on it. Let's take a look at it. And that's a cutter down and in. It's not the kind of pitch you would expect. 3-2. He's probably looking for more of a fastball, but essentially that is Scott's fastball. I think it's the type fastball he throws the most, especially to left-hand hitters.
Jose Lopez, who's had a huge series, couple of doubles, couple of home runs.
The other thing that's, I think, difficult when you try to hit Scott's cutter is they all don't break the exact same way. Some of them are a little bit flatter and just come into the left-hand hitter several inches. That one not only came in, it went down a little bit too. So it's a little bit unpredictable how the cutter will move exactly. And it doesn't take a huge difference in the way it moves to throw the hitter off.
Lopez, who's not known for his keen eye up there, lays off a couple, runs the count to 2-0. Only 16 walks all year for Lopez. He's an everyday player. Off speed, a strike.
high curveball for a strike. And number 2 is a strike too, according to the rectangle.
Up into the air, and back goes Vizquel. Oh, Omar lets it drop. He'll pick it up and get the out at second base.
He did that on purpose.
Yes, he did.
he wanted Ichiro off first base because he knows with 2 outs, Ichiro's going to try to steal second base.
He baited him.
He let it go. Ichiro couldn't get close enough to second base, and he threw him out at second base.
You got to love Omar Vizquel, because who else is going to think of that and pull that off?
Half the people in the stadium that are buzzing right now think he missed it. A few of them know exactly what he did.
Perfect. Look at that. And Ichiro's like, "Oh, you really?"
There's nothing Ichiro can do. He can see him out of the corner of his eye, and if Ichiro went too far, he would have caught it and doubled him off first base.
I don't know if Elvis knew what to make of that. I mean, the look that Elvis had was, wow, did he really just pull that off?
Well, the thing that could have foiled that play is if Elvis just stood at shortstop to watch him catch the pop-up. But, you know, you have to go to a base just in case he drops it. So Elvis was at second base where he should have been.
I got to imagine as much time as Omar spends with Elvis just talking about the nuances of playing the infield, that's something that's probably come up at some point. Griffey takes outside.
Toby Harrow was talking about Omar when he was playing in Cleveland. He saw him do this twice on a pop-up directly into the sun. Instead of trying to use his glasses and stare into the sun, he turned his back to the ball and watched the ball come down over his head so that the sun didn't bother him. And I've never seen anybody do that. I've seen outfielders occasionally look sideways so they're not looking right into the sun, but I've never seen anybody turn their back and make a catch that way on purpose, unless they're running backwards trying to catch a ball that's over their head.
Griffey, who was with Vizquel for all those years in Seattle. I'm sure Griffey's got some amazing stories about Omar too. We've only scratched the surface with Omar because he doesn't play every day. But at the Kingdom, I mean, there were literally times where he'd go out there and take infield without a glove, just with his bare hands, just practicing how quickly he could bare hand and get rid of a baseball. Feldman says, "Omar, I got you this time." And the leadoff single from Ichiro ends up not mattering at all. At the top of the 4th, it stays 1-0. Sierra, one of 5 Rangers to get the Comeback Player of the Year nod. Jenkins, Guzman, Canseco, and Kevin Elster in 1996. Some thump from the bottom of the lineup that year. We just had Ferguson Jenkins back as part of the Ranger Hall of Fame festivities this weekend. Nice catch in the crowd off a David Murphy foul ball. Murphy's accounted for the only run of this game so far with a home run. Two balls to strike, the count to Murphy. Bird and Blaylock to follow here in the 4th inning against the former Pirate, Ian Snell. It was a 3-1 count to Murphy when he homered in the 1st inning. Just saying. Way up and outside. 3rd walk allowed by Snell. Well, I mentioned the Angels won again. 2 more homers for Kendry Morales. He's up to 23 for the year. The Angels, who scored 11 runs yesterday, got 13 more today. Beat up on Minnesota 13-4. That means since the Rangers took 2 out of 3 against the Angels not too long ago, since then the Angels are now 17-3. Well, the Rangers have played very good baseball during that time. It has not been .850 ball like the Angels have played.
Yeah, 17-3. If they were 14-6, we'd be tied for first place, and that's a pretty good record. 14-7, whatever it would be.
Rangers have gone 10-5 since the All-Star break. Ooh, that one hitting Marlon Byrd. 2 on, nobody out. A great chance now. Trying to run away and hide from Seattle tonight. You've got Blaylock coming up, then Cruz. The team that Snell left behind lost to the Nationals today. Washington 5 and Pittsburgh 3.
That's a slider that just slipped out of his hand. If you're going to get hit by a pitch, you prefer it to be a slider and not a fastball. It's not coming in quite as fast. Doesn't mean it feels that great when you get hit near the elbow.
Blaylock at 20 homers, 50 runs batted in. Nice round numbers for Hank. He's become the everyday first baseman since Chris Davis got sent down to AAA. And Chris still hitting above 300 for Oklahoma City. He's playing third base, not first base, because the star prospect Justin Smoke is playing first base for the Red Hawks.
Yeah, and that won't hurt Chris at all. You know what he can do at first base. We've seen that. We also saw him play third base pretty well too, but I think the ability to play third base just gives Chris even more versatility. So I think that's probably a good thing for him to be playing third base.
Blaylock, and it deflects towards second base. Lopez to Wilson on to first, a double play. 4 fielders touched that baseball to get 2 outs. Different part of the batting order. Maybe you're bunting there with Hank Blaylock, but Hank doesn't have a successful sacrifice bunt to the major leagues since his rookie season, 2002. You're asking Hank to swing the bat.
Especially the way Hank's been getting clutch hits for the Rangers for a long time. In that situation, I think you do want Hank to swing away, drive in a run. He's doing a good job of that.
A couple other scores real quick here, Tag. There are a lot of runs being scored in the American League today. We talked about the Angels and what they did. How about Boston giving up 10 runs today and winning by 8? Red Sox 18, the Orioles 10. 38 hits total in that game, 5 of them from the newly acquired Victor Martinez for Boston. That's a pretty good impression that Victor Martinez is making on the Boston Red Sox fans. The Orioles with a 23 hitter today. Cruz out in front, 0-2.
That's that good slider that Snell likes to feature.
Two strike, 2 out pitch. Got him. The Rangers had 2 on and nobody out, and ended up not scoring in the inning. It stays just 1-0 for Scott Feldman. Baseball being brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. And by the Ford F-150, it's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. Only 2 hits in this ball game. One of them a David Murphy home run. The other one a typical Ichiro, little squibber toward short. And Scott Feldman, boy, what a bounce back, huh? After he allowed 10 hits in 2 1/3 innings just the other night. He is sticking it to Seattle so far this evening. Scott followed his longest ever start. That's the one in Kansas City with his shortest ever start. They won the other night against the Tigers. I think the Rangers would be happy if this one met right in the middle. Go 6 or 7 innings. The bullpen has seen an adjustment. If you're just joining us, Doug Mathis is back, and young Neftali Felice has joined the team. Those guys are active for the game tonight. Jason Grilli had to go on the DL with a sore elbow. Hand to hand, and there's Vizquel with a backhand and a pirouette. Got him! 11 Gold Gloves at shortstop. Hardly any games ever played at second base, but doesn't look like it matters. Great D is great D. I know Mark McLemore was a doctor of defense, but Omar's gone to medical school too, apparently. Strike to Jack Wilson. He's a Gold Glove caliber guy himself. We mentioned the Red Sox with an 18-run outburst today to beat the Orioles by 8. You would think there'd be a bunch of home runs for Boston. Well, there were two of them. Rocco Baldelli and Josh Reddick. Not the names you'd necessarily come up with. Those are the guys that hit them. The Indians exploded for 11 runs today. Beat up on the Tigers 11-1. Carl Pavano, very strong for Cleveland. High fly ball from Wilson. Nelson Cruz is right under it to make the catch. Kansas City beat Tampa Bay 4-1. James Shields actually had a no-hitter into the 8th inning in that game for Tampa Bay, but Kansas City with 2 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th to win. Tampa Bay's one run, a home run from Ben Zobrist. Langerhans takes inside. Feldman pumps it right by him, 1-1. Yankees over the White Sox today, 8-5. Mark Burley, the losing pitcher. He was matched up against CC Sabathia. There was a cycle in that game, too. Melky Cabrera got it done. Again, Sabathia over Burley. Rivera saved number 30. So with both the Yankees and the Red Sox winning, they stay even in the loss column in the AL East. Tampa Bay is 6-pack. Another high fly ball. Blaylock and Vizquel will discuss. It's going to be Omar to make the catch and end the inning. Still 1-0 Rangers.
Upper home run courts, the Harrington family having their annual reunion. How many straight years is it?
Been 6 years and we hadn't lost yet. Go Rangers!
There you go. How many generations do we have here?
We got about 4 generations here, including my granddad, my dad about to go on his 80.
All right. Well, happy birthday there. And good to have the Harrington family reunion here in the upper home run porch. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Josh.
Thank you, Jim, and welcome everybody. Rangers leading 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th. There's only been one hit for the Rangers, but it was a home run from David Murphy.
Yeah, the difference in the game was the quality of the 2 hits. Murphy had a home run. Ichiro had an infield single. That's it.
Omar Vizquel, I'm surprised he didn't field that one. Sitting there in the dugout. Or actually, he did field that one in the dugout. Barehanded, of course. Hamilton scrapes one along to second base. We were talking about Mark McLemore just a moment ago, and like magic, he now appears in the booth. The doctor of defense watched Omar Vizquel make a play out there that, I don't know, you ever made that one? Just bait somebody into straying away off of first base and not getting, I mean, that was something that Omar pulled off.
That was a beautiful play. I never did it at the big league level. I did it a couple of times at the minor league level, but I guess I really didn't have the nerve or opportunity to do it at the big league level.
It takes both, doesn't it?
It does.
Opportunity and then the courage to go ahead and do it.
Absolutely.
I think that's the thing that was so cool about it, how cool he was just making that play so routinely.
Unbelievable.
Well, and the guy he got, obviously, I mean, it's not like he just got some guy. I mean, that,
No.
Ichiro is the kind of player who you would think would.
No, the thing is, Josh, it didn't matter who was running at first base. Whoever, you could take every single runner in the big leagues, and the same thing would have happened.
Oh, no doubt. I'm just
He
saying
didn't
that.
bait Ichiro.
Right.
He just got the runner. It happened to be Ichiro.
There's Saltalamacchia down on strikes. But I mean, that's the kind of cool baseball thing that I think Ichiro, of all people, would appreciate in a quiet moment.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the thing about it was you get rid of the fastest guy probably in the league, get him off the bases, so he can't steal second. He's not going to score on a double in the gap. And you put a guy out there who doesn't run well at all. So he knew exactly what he was doing by letting that ball drop and get Ichiro at second base.
That's the kind of thing, Mac, you don't just do it spur of the moment. He's probably thinking about that
Absolutely.
ahead of time, right? If
Absolutely.
a pop-up comes.
Believe me, he was praying for a pop-up and go back on the grass. You can't do that play on the dirt because you're going to get a big hop.
Elvis Andrews shooting one into left field, a base hit. Saunders is up with it, and now not up with it. And that's easily second base for Elvis Andrews. Elvis was on base 3 times yesterday. He's been on base twice tonight, so he hasn't been out in his last 5 trips to the plate. And this is a nice thing to talk about, but the Rangers about to head out on the road.
Elvis has just been very impressive. He takes pitches, works the pitcher, goes deep in the count. He's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, and he gets the job done. He's got a very good eye up there at the plate, and I think eventually he's going to end up being at the top of this lineup. Probably not this year, and maybe not even next year, but eventually he's going to end up being a top of the order hitter.
The former Mariner, Omar Vizquel. Right towards the end of your career, Mac, as Cleveland and Seattle met in the division series, you had a chance to match wits with Omar. Pretty good division series, Seattle against Cleveland. I remember Omar and Robbie Alomar and Kenny Lofton doing their usual thing, making you guys work a little bit.
They made us work a little bit. They took us to the limit, but fortunately we got by.
I think Jamie Moyer pitching Game 5, the decisive Game 5 for you guys.
Jamie did an outstanding job. He's that, I don't think he's ever going to stop pitching.
What is he, 46 now?
46 or 56.
Omar along to third, and he'll be tagged out to end the inning. One more hit for the Rangers, but no more runs for the Rangers. Mac, that was quick.
That was quick. I'm making this too fast. Making this too fast.
You're good.
All I can tell you, Mac, is Buzz got to run the last 2 nights he's been up here, so the pressure's on for your next appearance.
I'll get it.
kids take the field honorary starting lineup before a Sunday Rangers game. Kids 5 to 13 can sign up at racetrack whenever Rangers captain makes an appearance. His schedule is available at texasrangers.com. Scott Feldman delivers. And the top of the sixth is underway with a strike to Rob Johnson. David Murphy's first inning homer. That's it. That's all the scoring in the game. In large measure, that's because Scott Feldman has been great. He was excellent against the Mariners back in May. 6 in the third innings of 4-hit baseball.
He pitched well. He beat him 6-4. Gave up 2 earned runs in 6 2/3 in Seattle in July too. So he's had 2 good games. This is the 3rd solid start he's had against Seattle.
Under the glove of Feldman, on into center field. So the tying man is on. Michael Saunders coming up. Let's quickly go to Emily Jones.
Hey guys, here with your friendly 6th inning reminder to check us out on all of the social networking website. On twitter.com, you can find us under FS Southwest. We want to know your thoughts on Neftali Felice being called up and perhaps making his major league debut tonight or sometime on the next road trip. Also on facebook.com, you can get all the latest Rangers news and video, including stuff from Hall of Fame induction weekend.
All right, Em, thank you very much. Ichiro waits on deck now as Michael Saunders takes down an in. You know, when the Rangers played in Seattle, it was the bottom of the lineup that seemed to do a lot of damage then. Johnson had that big home run off Kevin Millwood, and still his only home run all year. Michael Saunders gets a chance in the number 9 spot tonight. The Mariners, remember, were 61 and 101 a year ago. So the fact that they're playing winning baseball this year is pretty extraordinary. Might be between Ron Washington and his former bench coach, John Wakamatsu, for Manager of the Year in the American League this year. First time Wakamatsu's had the head job somewhere. There's a walk to Saunders. Boy, the bottom of the order thing again.
Yeah, that's not a good walk right there. You've got the 9th place hitter up there who was trying to bunt to begin with. And you end up walking him now for the top of the order.
Feldman getting the counsel from Mike Maddox. A pitch count in the low 80s right now. Temperature in the low 90s right now. 91 at the ballpark. Oh, Ichiro is the guy that Feldman's got to deal with. He's hit into only 1 double play all year. Puts the bunt down, foul.
Ichiro's the kind of guy that in this situation, even if you anticipate that he's going to bunt, if he lays down a good bunt, he's got a great chance to beat it out anyway.
Yep.
Unless you're just right on top of him, in which case you just invite him to slap the ball right by you.
No sign of the bunt that time. Simply up and outside. Rangers trying to make it 6 wins in their last 8 games, 11 in their last 14. And they do have the 1-0 lead right now, but this is the toughest challenge that Feldman has faced all night. Ichiro drives it over a leaping Vizquel. And now they are loaded up. Great throw by Nelly Cruz back in. Now Ichiro, 2 more hits, getting close to a .370 batting average for the year. Hit that one hard enough that Johnson couldn't come around and score, but boy, now tough spot. Branyan and Lopez coming up, and then Ken Griffey Jr. We've talked about Branyan and how he's been getting out on high fastballs quite a bit. The last time it was a cutter that Branyan struck out on. Sawed him off. It slowly hit. Only play will be to first base. The Mariners have tied the game. That's got to be 5, maybe 6 broken bats in this series for Russell Branyan, but that last broken bat ties the score.
Well, it's contact. You know, Branyan's a guy that's prone to the strikeout. In fact, he did strike out in the 4th inning. But in this situation, at least it's contact, and it's on the ground. And as weakly as he hit that ball, the only play was at first base, and it did score a run. Moved 2 guys into scoring position.
And the infield is back here for the Rangers. Blaylock in a little bit at first, about even with the bag. And Lopez usually a very aggressive hitter. We've talked about that tonight. Only 16 walks for the year. Griffey's on deck. The guy with 622 home runs. Guardado getting ready in the bullpen.
Got 2 left-hand hitters coming up, Griffey and Hanahan.
Poked into center field. On comes Hamilton. Back goes Elvis. He can't get it. Flips the ball to Hamilton. But now Seattle's got a 2-1 lead. And the bottom of the order, Johnson and Saunders, the 2 guys that come on in to score.
Good pitch, too. It's a breaking ball down and away. Just a little blooper that Elvis couldn't quite get to. I'm sure the at-bat this inning that Scott would like to start over with was to walk to Saunders. Nothing to do about Johnson's base hit up the middle, but if you throw Saunders strikes, chances are the inning takes an entirely different turn.
Ichiro at third, so a fly ball of any depth from Griffey could get the job done. That's what you wanted, that little one-hopper to Elvis. Double play keeps it 2-1. With Guardado ready in the bullpen, Ron Washington stays with Feldman, who gets the double play. The Rangers in range, trailing by 1. tickets to a Ranger game and dinner for two at Sonic. Good luck to Raluca Saturn of Dallas. If a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. I'm going to give Ian Snell some credit for the Seattle Mariners. He's two-hitting the Rangers. He threw a complete game shutout against the Rangers a couple of years ago, back when he was a Pittsburgh Pirate. His first start as a Mariner. He's going to buckle back Michael Young here. He's working with a lead for the first time. It is 2-1. A broken bat RBI grounder from Branyan and a chip shot bloop single from Jose Lopez. And just like that, Seattle 2, Texas 1. Rangers get on the airplane and head on out to the Bay Area as soon as this one is done. They've got a 4-game series with the Athletics starting tomorrow. The Rangers stay across the bay in San Francisco and commute into Oakland. Michael Young jumps on one, drives it left field, taking off to the track at the wall. It's gone! Tie game!
It was almost like Snell was trying to give up a home run in that at bat. I know he wasn't, but he threw Michael 4 straight high pitches. One for a ball, one high breaking ball for a strike, fouled off a high pitch. Then he threw him another one. And if you're going to give up a home run to Michael, this is the kind of pitch that it could be, a hanging slider up and in. And all 4 pitches were pitches that Snell, location-wise, wasn't trying to throw in that at bat. Finally ended up as a home run.
Young, having struck out his first 2 at-bats, follows up by hitting his 17th home run of the year already. His career best is 24. So he's angling towards that, having one of his better all-around seasons. And this is his first year as a third baseman.
Yeah, he's giving the visitors' bullpen a pretty good workout in this homestand.
Murphy, who's already homered, will send one in the air to right. Ichiro's there. Take you back to the Michael Young at bat.
Yeah, watch the pitches now. The first pitch is going to be a high breaking ball. Another high breaking ball that found the strike zone. High fastball. And then a high hanging breaking ball. So all the pitches were up. 3 of the breaking balls, 3 of the sliders hung. And Michael finally got a hold of one to his liking and found that bullpen, I think, for the 3rd time in this homestand.
9-game hitting streak now for Michael. He's hitting about 500 over the last week and a half. Two runs, 4 hits for Seattle. Now 2 runs, 3 hits for the Rangers. We're trying to hang within 4 games of the surging Angels in the West. The Angels have scored 24 runs in their last 2 games. And the Rangers will get some head-to-head activity with the Angels this coming weekend, but first the 4 games in Oakland. High pop fly from Marlon Byrd. Out number 2. Well, the Rangers now have homered in 11 straight games. That's the first time they've had a run that long this year. Got 158 home runs total now in 2009. That leads all of Major League Baseball. Blaylock has hit the ball back up the middle twice, once into a double play. This time down the line, but foul. And a nice crowd at the ballpark tonight on a Sunday night. Probably about 25,000, 26,000. Rangers drew very well last night for the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, about 30,000 last night. Blaylock shoots one in the air to center. But the Michael Young home run has the Rangers dead even with Seattle now at the end of 6. Rangers 2 and the Mariners 2. Rapid rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T is your world delivered. Scott Feldman still on the mound, delivers a swinging strike here. Jack Hanahan is behind 0-1. Ken Griffey Jr. having hit into the double play to end the top of the 6th. Feldman gets a chance to go out there and prove his mettle, at least to start the 7th. Having allowed 10 hits and 6 runs in about 2 innings of work just 3 nights ago. Great work from Scott Feldman tonight in search of his 10th win of the year. Made his own trouble last inning. He walked the number 9 hitter, a 155 hitter, Michael Saunders. And from there, Ichiro and Branyan and Jose Lopez able to get a couple of runs for the Mariners.
He made a big pitch to Griffey, though, with men on 1st and 3rd and only 1 out. Great chance for the Mariners to get another run in. But he jammed Griffey and got that bouncer to shortstop that turned into a double play to get out of the inning. So he definitely stopped the bleeding and got out of the inning.
I'm trying to reward Ron Washington's faith in him here. Watch saying, go on back out there, start the 7th for me. Facing the back-to-back Jacks here, Hanahan and Wilson. Ground ball, Vizquel can't get it. It rolls on into right. Suddenly, Jack Hanahan has become a really tough out. He's been on base 6 of the last 7 times he's been up. Double play stays in order. Jack Wilson, who has hit into 3 double plays since coming over to Seattle in 4 games.
He gets the ground ball. Decently hit ground ball, but it found a hole. Could be a bunt situation right here, but if it's not, you get a decently hit ground ball. Maybe it's a double play.
Wilson had a couple of doubles last night. Wilson grew up not too far at all from Michael Young in L.A. Young in even with the runner going here. The bunt is foul.
Not sure what that was.
No.
You generally don't see a sacrifice bunt with a runner running. That might have been, well, it could have been a lot of things. It could have been a bunt, and the guy on first, Hanahan, didn't see the sign. It could have been a hit and run, and Wilson didn't see the sign. But I doubt it was a run and bunt. You might see that. It's unusual to see that, though.
Now swinging, grounding it to Vizquel. The flip to Elvis Andrus. Double play!
That's what we're talking about.
Last night it was 2 doubles from Wilson. It's 2 double plays from Wilson tonight instead. And Scott Feldman needing to get another ground ball, got another ground ball.
He's had 2 ground ball double plays in 3 at bats. Griffey and now Wilson. Keeps his pitch count at 97. Great chance to get through 7 innings right here.
How much fun is it for Elvis Andrus getting to turn double plays with his hero? Omar Vizquel playing second base and probably will be for a while now with Kinsler on the DL. Would have been like you throwing the ball around the outfield with Mickey Mantle.
Oh man, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I would have had to just kind of watch him do it himself for a few days before I had the nerve to go try it myself.
You imagine that the Mick says, "Come on, Rook, let's go throw one out here."
Me?
Yep, you.
Okay. You afraid I'd bounce it to him or throw it over his head?
When was the last time you got called Rook?
Let's see. That would have been 1970.
2 balls, no strikes to Ryan Langerhans, the Round Rock High School product. A 2-2 tie here in the top of the 7th inning. Feldman's right at 100 pitches for the night. A smash by Ryan Langerhans on 2-0. To the deepest part out there.
Fortunately, it's to the 407 sign.
That gets the Rangers and the Mariners to the 7th inning stretch. And if that's the last pitch thrown by Feldman tonight, he's happy to see that it died in the glove of Josh Hamilton. We'll keep it right here, the singing of God Bless America on a Sunday night at the ballpark.
Both at home and abroad. Tonight, Michael Bortz honors America with the singing.
his debut has allowed home runs to the law firm of Murphy and Young. And Scott Feldman, 7 quality innings tonight. He bounced back from that not-so-good one the other night against the Tigers. With Kinsler on the DL, with Jason Grilli going to the DL, and the Rangers kind of trying to find out some things about themselves right now. It's a good ball game tonight, 2-2 tie. And Sean White takes over for Snell. The Verizon Wireless call to the bullpen.
Yeah, it was a good game for Ian Snell in his first start for the Mariners. He only gave up 3 hits. Unfortunately, 2 of them were home runs. He hung some pitches to Michael Young, who ended up hitting a home run his last time up.
Welcome to the ball game, Sean White. Base hit, Nelson Cruz. He had 3 hits yesterday. His first one tonight as the Rangers look to reclaim the lead now in the bottom of the 7th inning.
But overall for Snell, a real good outing.
Snell is now the senior member, the elder statesman, if you will, of this Mariners rotation at the age of 27.
Wow. Yeah, Snell's been around for quite a while. I think he's only 27 years old. Got to the big leagues at a real young age. He's got a good arm. Be a good addition to the Mariners staff.
They got rid of Jared Washburn, remember, in that deal to Detroit. Hamilton takes up and outside. Frankie Francisco, welcome back. Getting ready in that Ranger bullpen. 1 rehab assignment. Rejoining the Rangers with an ERA of about 2. We'll see if the Rangers can hand them a lead in the 8th inning. Hamilton skies it towards the crowd.
That ball bounced all the way from the lower deck softly into the hands of someone in the little mezzanine area there.
That's fate.
That is a big hop.
And a Josh Hamilton foul ball. Pretty cool. Up and in, you've got Saltalamacchia on deck. Again, the Angels have won their game today convincingly, 13-4 in Minnesota. The Angels, by the way, are off tomorrow. The Rangers have to play, however, in Oakland. Get in the wee small hours. The Angels have to go to Chicago. They will start that series Tuesday. Hamilton to left field. To the track. And it's caught. Nelly tagging. And into second base is the go-ahead man. Some aggressive base running.
Yeah, good base running because he didn't tag up immediately in case the ball went over his head. But once he saw it was going to be caught, he hustled back to first. So he doesn't know. Now he sees it's going to be caught. He sprints back and goes ahead anyway. As Saunders caught the ball all the way back on the track, he would have had to make an exceptional throw.
That's huge. The Rangers stay out of a potential double play. With Nelly's speed, a base hit to the outfield, you got a shot to score right here.
That's one where he probably got a little help from Gary Pettis at first base, who's probably screaming at him, tag up, tag up. He came back. And if there was any doubt in Nelly's mind, maybe there wasn't, maybe he just went on his own, but chances are he got back toward first base and Gary's going, go, go, because he wasted no time. And the throw was just enough offline where he got in easily.
Saltalamacchia jerks it down the right field line to the pole. Off the pole! 2-run shot!
used the long ball effectively tonight. Only had 5 hits, and 3 of them have been home runs. That was the only question about this. It's a curveball on the inside corner. Just whether it would stay fair, and it just barely did.
Saltalamacchia has now tripled his home run total from last year. He's got 9 in 09, including the 10th inning grand slam in Seattle back in May. This one not an extra innings. This one is only half of a slam. It's a 2-run home run, but it will do. It is 4-2 Texas. Elvis taking, and now 3-1. Now Nelson Cruz got it going with that base hit in the left. Hamilton a nice at bat, taking one to the warning track. And Saltalamacchia the 2-run home run. Elvis becomes his second out of the inning. The one-time Ranger bench coach John Wakamatsu, who still lives here in the area during the offseason. His team is alive. But if they lose this game tonight, they'll be 10 back in the West behind the Angels. Rangers trying to stay within 4 of the red-hot Angels. They've got a 4-2 lead tonight at the end of 7. Tell you about, but first we go to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. Time for the progressive fan of the game. It is Tara. That's right, from Frisco. She goes to Texas Tech, longtime Ranger fan, and it's a good reason because what did you decide to do tonight?
That's right. I decided to bring out my best friend from A&M. Giga Bags! Oh no, and my mom's with us. They came with us as well.
All right, if she's a longtime Salty fan, you get the progressive fan of the game, the tote bag, the hat, the shirt. Congratulations. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
That's right. All right, appreciate it, Josh.
Thank you, Jim. And Saltalamacchia is the reason the Rangers have the lead right now. The reason Scott Feldman stands to win his 10th game of the year. Frankie Francisco will try to pitch through the 8th. Welcome back, Frankie. Been on the DL now for basically 3 weeks with that case of pneumonia. And he comes back with a very healthy ERA of 2.28.
The second time this year that Scott has pitched at least 7 innings. He had the 8 shutout innings in Kansas City, now 7 innings tonight, 2 runs on 5 hits. pitching on 3 days rest too. Only threw 71 pitches in that start against Detroit. He was strong tonight.
Into the crowd of 28,670. I think we had a spill.
Spillage?
Spillage. Spillage. Oh, 2 to Rob Johnson. Bouncing in there. See the note in the Mariners media packet tonight?
No.
Rob Johnson has done something that puts him on the cusp in Mariners history. He's got a chance to be the first Mariners catcher ever to walk in 6 straight games.
Wow.
That would be, they might stop the game. It's not going to happen. Rob Johnson strikes out. 1 for 3 tonight, no walks. And Bob Stinson's record is safe.
Now you threw him a splitter. Off-speed pitch, caught the top of the strike zone. Took that leadoff hitter. Scott finished strong tonight. Got the double play. Got the long fly ball to center field, but then the big thing he got was the 2-run homer from Salty, which puts him in position to win the game if Frankie can hang on here and maybe CJ in the ninth.
The Victoria, British Columbia native Saunders will rip one into right center. Nelly Cruz with Hamilton. Hamilton's got it.
Ooh, that looked dangerous from our side.
Yeah.
They're coming right together. You couldn't tell whether Nelly was behind him or right on track to smash into him.
They shared a hug earlier in this homestand. Remember that?
Yeah.
They ran up into the alley in right center and did collide.
Frankie had a rehab outing 2 days ago. He threw 24 pitches in 1 inning. Got a good start to the 8th inning. 2 outs and 7 pitches right here.
You breathe a little easier when Ichiro is not the tying man.
I like him better too with nobody on, and he's not the leadoff hitter in the
Right.
league too.
It was perfect. If you get Ichiro, you got a real good shot of never having to see him again in this series. That's a violent swing from Ichiro, not his usual swing right there.
It's a little harder to take that swing where he's kind of going toward first base, slapping at the ball when it's up like that, especially up and in. You really can't. So his pitch is down in a way that lead to those infield hits. Saw Jason Grillo last night throw 3 straight fastballs right there, and Ichiro missed all of them. Missed 2 of Frankie's now.
Goodbye. And welcome back, Frankie Francisco. tickets. You get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 Cokes, a parking pass, and unlimited play in the sports park for kids 13 and under. All for as little as $15 per person. For tickets, go to TexasRangers.com, or you can always call 972-RANGERS. Second consecutive Sean will come into the game now for Seattle. This is Sean Kelly. Sean White was in just long enough to allow only his 3rd home run all year. But it was a 2-run shot by Jared Saltalamacchia. And the Rangers now lead it 4-2. Both teams with 5 hits. Scott Feldman on line for a win. And here are the numbers on Sean Kelly.
Sean White, who gave up the home run to Saltalamacchia, had only given up 2 home runs in 48 innings before Salty hit that curveball out of here.
Young, who homered in the 6th inning off Ian Snell, will ground out. And the guy that started the scoring tonight comes up next. That's David Murphy. Murphy's home run off of Snell was the first homer that Snell had allowed in 69 innings of work. A high fly ball, shallow center. Lopez back. 2 away. John Radigan standing by for your pleasure. Hello, Rad.
Hello, Josh. Getting ready for Rangers Live. So much to talk to the players about. We got to talk to Omar about that great play where he got Ichiro off the bases. We got to talk to Salty about the home run. I don't think he thought it was fair until it hit the foul pole. We got to talk to Frankie about his outing, and maybe even Neftali Feliz just about being here finally. Lots to do. Emily Jones has her hands full tonight. Rangers Live, guys, right after the game.
All right, John, thanks. Looking forward to sending it right back to you. C.J. Wilson getting ready in the bullpen. Frankie Francisco returned tonight and pitched a scoreless 8th. And yeah, a very cerebral play by Omar Vizquel earlier tonight on a ball hit by Jose Lopez. Rangers trying to get back to within 4 of the Angels, who are now 63-40. Rangers playing 4 games at the A's and then 3 at the Angels, part of a long 11-day road trip coming up. Rangers will head to Cleveland from the West Coast. Marlon Byrd, a busted bat base hit. Six hits for the Rangers tonight. That's what they had last night, and it was not enough. Looks like it might be enough tonight. They'd love to add to a 4-2 lead here.
If the Rangers do hang on and win, it'll be a nice homestand. They will have gone 5-2. Two out of 3 from Detroit, 3 out of 4 from Seattle.
Yeah, and they would be 9-4 for the year against Seattle. That's a team they'll end the season against out there at Safeco. That's the hope, is that last week on the road will mean everything. 4 games at the Angels, 3 at the Mariners. High fly ball from Blaylock into shallow left. So now we look towards the 9th. 2, 3, 4 in the order coming up for Seattle. And the Rangers ahead 4-2. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. By Progressive, great money saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. And by the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. C.J. Wilson is on, trying to get 3 outs. And he almost hits Russell Brandon with his first delivery. C.J. is 12 of 14, knocking down save opportunities. And if he saves this one, Scott Feldman goes to 10-4. Only Justin Verlander and Josh Beckett have won more games than Feldman has since the end of April. One and one to Brandon. Lopez and Griffey will follow. Seattle getting 2 runs in the top of the 6th, but that's it. That one did hit him. CJ was trying to come in on Brandon with that very first pitch and almost hit him. This time he did deliver a glancing blow. The tying man will bat. And it's a hot hitter, Jose Lopez.
Brandon's only a .227 hitter against left-handed pitching, and most left-hand pitchers are not as tough to hit as CJ is, so that's not a guy you want to put on base that way and make him obviously hit his way on base.
The Rangers have turned 3 double plays tonight. They're poised in the infield here, hoping for a 4th. You got a guy with 622 big league home runs on deck in Griffey. Lopez up over top, and quickly it is 0-2. Vizquel leaping, couldn't get it. Wow, trying to time that jump, and now the Rangers are in trouble. You got 2 on and nobody out. A little 2-strike bloop. Ken Griffey Jr., the go-ahead man.
Well, I swear there's been 2 little pop-up line drives that if Omar was about 3 inches taller, he might have caught both of them. That one just skimmed off the top of his glove, near the top of his glove.
Griffey doesn't have a hit against Wilson, but he worked a 9-pitch walk against him in a key moment back in Seattle not too long ago. A lot of foul balls. We have told the story before about how C.J. Wilson grew up idolizing Ken Griffey Jr. C.J. fashioned himself a hitter, a power hitter at that. And before he wanted to be a pitcher, he wanted to be Ken Griffey Jr. Facing Ken Griffey Jr., he deals a strike. Another lefty on deck, Jack Hanahan. Remember, Griffey doesn't run like he used to. He indeed hit into a double play last time up. Ground ball, Vizquel has got it. His only play to first. The tying man is now at second. That runner at third doesn't really mean anything. But Lopez means everything out there at second.
They've got right-hand hitters on the bench. They've got Gutierrez, Jojima, Sweeney, Chris Woodward. But Hanahan's been a hot hitter, as you mentioned tonight, Josh. And Don Wakamatsu's going to stick with him right here.
Yeah, Hanahan's been on base 6 of the last 7 times he's been to the plate, so they're going to ride that. the infield back, because again, if that runner scores from third, that's not a tragedy. Saltalamakia stops one down in the dirt. Wilson trying to save it for Feldman. A strike to Hanahan.
Hanahan's actually hitting higher against lefties than he is righties.
The just acquired Jack Wilson is on deck. Hits are even, 6-6. Close, but no. On appeal, indeed, no swing. First base is open. Let's check this one out. Ooh.
Could have been a strike.
That one is a strike. 3-2.
Him out.
He dialed it down a little bit. Threw a 3-1 fastball for a strike. Probably figured Hanahan would be taking. And then throws him a 3-2 slider down and away. And he couldn't lay off it.
Now Jack Wilson. Against C.J. Wilson.
The Rangers have turned 3 double plays tonight. Wilson, who has pretty good speeds, hit into 2 of them. The double plays really helped Scott tonight. But part of the double play is making a good pitch to get the ground ball for the double play. Scott did that 3 times tonight. 2 outs, no double play in order right here. You just want to get Wilson any way you can.
Down the left field line, it sails foul.
Ooh. Fortunately, that off-speed pitch was up a little bit. And Wilson jumped on it, but he jumped out in front of it just a little bit. Like a high changeup, and TJ's probably very happy that ball was pulled foul.
Kind of pitcher Michael Young hammered out for his home run. In there, 1-2. It gets away from Saltalamakia. He's on it. Was it foul?
No,
it must. Tag him.
He's trying to act like it's foul.
Ball game. How about that? The game ends with Wilson getting tagged out. The young umpire, DJ Rayburn, in only his 6th ever game at the plate, is going to have to bring in some help here.
Yeah, it's not over yet. We're going to talk to the umpires to see. I don't know how in the world they could possibly see whether he fouled this ball off.
The Rangers are celebrating.